All right, good morning, y'all. So, I was in my journal this morning writing, and in the Bible app, they had an activity for us today, and it was just saying to one, reflect on what God has done for you, two, give thanks and offer gratitude to Him, three, praise God and proclaim God's greatness, and then four, tell everyone. So, I want to be like the Samaritan woman and spread the word of Jesus and spread what he's done for me. Um, so that's what I'm here doing today. So the first thing that I did was reflect, and I wanted to make a list of 20 things that God has done for me over just the past 5 years. And I didn't even get to my last year because I started reflecting on everything else, and I wanted to basically what I did was I looked through my camera roll, and for me, pictures always bring me back to a moment. Whatever I felt in that moment, I kind of usually have like a memory to remember what was going on, or it just always makes me reflect back on what was I doing during that time. So I just went through like my camera roll on my phone, and I was just going, and I didn't get to the last year, but this last year I kind of know what I was going through, and honestly, some of the topics that I covered in my 20 things that God has done for me have like covered that. So let me just go into it. So, one, he woke me up this morning. Two, he helped me graduate from college twice with my master's and my bachelor's. He surrounded me with a community of people. I can say that I've seen that living in South Africa, living in Baltimore. I've had even in North Carolina now, like I've always had a community of people around me. He helped me travel around the world. He's kept me during a miscarriage and during a pregnancy, and I delivered my baby healthy and happy this time. Y'all see Zion. Six, he's healed my heart and restored my faith and love. Breakups are tough, but you know, I think that I love love, and I'm rooting for love always. So he's restored my hope and love. He's washed me new and he forgave me. That was a big one for me this year and in the past when I've gotten baptized. It's just feeling like he's just washed me new and made me a new person. Um, he's provided provision, whether it was a car, a home, a job, money, resources, connections. I've been very, very blessed with the provisions that God has provided for me over the years, and I can go on and on about what He's done and how fast He's done things. So, um, number nine, He used those no's and delays to prosper me. Um, the no's and delays, that goes back to when I was first getting into graduate school, and they told me to wait because I had Zion and the coursework would be too rigorous for me to do while I was pregnant. And it worked in my favor actually because COVID hit and I was able to stay at home and go to school with her. As well as other things in my life where God has told me no and delay, like with my praxis. And if you know anything about me and my praxis, we had a long journey, I promise you that. He gave me the courage. Number 10, he gave me the courage and the faith to believe that I can do hard things. One of the hard things was raising my daughter in Baltimore, like raising my daughter away from the village that God has placed me in and having to create a village out there. He's just in just working in Baltimore City, like those are all hard things that God has given me the courage and the faith to believe that I can do still. 11, he allowed me to witness beautiful moments for my friends and my family. Just watching everybody grow. Like seeing marriages, seeing kids being born, and fathers raising their kids. Like I love seeing stuff like that. I've seen my friends step into motherhood, and it is just a beautiful process of being able to witness and be a part of their journey as well. 12, he showed me how to operate in the fruits of the spirit. When I was looking back at my pictures, I realized that God has been taking me through this transition before I realized that I was in a transition, you know? And he was working on me. And so first it started off with, just seeking him first for myself. Then it was like, okay, well, how about you tithe? And how about you be generous? And how about you do this? And how about you do that? And then to be at this point where it's like I'm kind of like all in on it, he's definitely been working on me and getting me all the way together. He helped me raise Zion with grace and joy and favor, but I also put flavor. Okay. A lot of times I get people saying like, you're such a great mom. Like you and Zion look like y'all have the most amazing times on y'all trips, and you're like, you know what I'm saying? That kind of stuff, like, warms my heart when people look at my relationship with my daughter and just admire it. It just warms my heart. So I think that I got a little bit of flavor when it comes down to me and my baby. 4, he improved your professional experience in overcoming the praxis. I've grown so much as a teacher with teaching in Baltimore. I've learned so many lessons. I am still learning how to become an effective teacher, but I've grown so much. And then overcoming those practices, like that was a big deal for me, and it took me a long time to get there. But I've grown so much, and I understand a lot more than what I did before, coming into my program. 15, he showed me areas that I needed to improve, and then he helped me seek therapy for those areas. And some of those things I didn't even learn about until I sought therapy. And I did it twice, two different time periods in the last 5 years where I just like, I think it's time to go to therapy. And so just being in therapy, I've been able to like have tough conversations and reflect for myself and really seek who I want to be and heal from my past traumas, because I refuse to be an adult that walks around with the traumas of my childhood and not heal those areas as well. He's kept me mentally and physically in shape when people were trying to hurt me. There have been times in my life in the past 5 years where I know that people were intentionally out there trying to break my spirit. And I remember one day I showed up to work and I told one of my coworkers, it was towards the end of the year, I told my coworkers, I said, she was like, you coming back next year? And I was like, no, I'm not coming back next year. And I was telling her everything that was going on. And she was like, wow. She was like, you would have never known that you were going through all of that. And she was like, and then like the things that were happening at the school, she was like, no, you were helping us out and you were doing this. She was like, you would have never known that any of that was happening. Your kids love you. Everything was good. But that just goes to show that there are going to be people out there that are going to try to break your spirit. And as long as you are showing up as your true self and being positive and being a light in this world, what people outside are trying to do to you, it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. Like, just brush it off and keep pushing. He called me to have self-control over alcohol and drug abuse. If you know me back in the day, your girl used to be a party girl. I used to have a good old time all the time whenever I wanted to. And then in Maryland, when they legalized the broccoli, the tree, the goodness, your girl went crazy too. And it was just like, now I'm practicing self-control and I'm trying to be better about it. So right now I'm only drinking wine and I ain't smoking, so that's cool. Self-control is what we're aiming for. 18, he called me to serve students and to be creative. If you know me, you know that I am a teacher. I love teaching. I love making up rap songs to help my kids understand processes. It's just allowed me to be creative and allow me to, like, make my work culturally relevant to them. And honestly, an easy way of learning is through music. And so I like to bring that into my classroom, and I like to be creative about my process and how I engage my kids. 19, he helped me forgive myself and know my self-worth. These last few months, I've been working on forgiving myself for the things that I've done in my past. And I know that God forgave me, but it's hard for you to not have that guilt of, I should have been doing what I knew to do. You know what I'm saying? And the reality is I had the knowledge to know that what I was doing was wrong, but I didn't have the wisdom to apply the knowledge that I knew. And without wisdom, you're not going to apply what you know to your life, even though you know that it is good for you not to do that. And it allowed me to understand my self-worth. Right now, I know that I am worthy of everything. You know what I'm saying? And in the areas that I'm not, I know what I need to do to improve myself. Or either I'm trying to improve myself in those areas. And then in seeking God, I've also learned what love is through him. And it's been a long journey, but I think that the other day I was reading a Bible, I was reading on the Bible app about how God humbled himself to die on the cross for us. And I was just thinking, like, you love me with this list of stuff that I've done wrong. I mean, completely wrong. Sexual immorality, drugs, alcohol, anger, operating in the fruits of the flesh and not in the spirit. Like, all of these things that I've done wrong, God, you loved me so much before I was even born to die on the cross for my sins that I was going to commit later on in life when I knew that you died for me. And I realized that love is sacrifice. Love is dying to yourself every single day so that you can glorify God. And that applies in any relationship. When I think about the love that I have for Zion, I would die for Zion. I would sacrifice anything for that little girl to have a better life. And including my own body. When I gave birth to her, like, I sacrificed my own life to give her life. And so when I think about how much God loves me, it just makes me understand my self-worth. And it helps me remind myself daily to die to my own flesh and live a life that glorifies God, one. But two, it just helps me realize how I want to treat others and how I want to be treated in this world. So that was another thing. And then 20, he saved me from myself, and now I'm living a soft life. With all the things that I've accomplished in life, it is so easy for me to be prideful and self-righteous and say, oh, I did this and I did that and I did this, because I can toast to my accomplishments in life. But he saved me from myself. He saved me from me being prideful. He saved me from me staying in Baltimore and living that hard life of, well, I done did it before and I'm just so determined and I have all this courage and I have all this strength. What makes you think that I can't do another year or another 2 years of living in Baltimore by myself? Everybody is already here and I got everything all set up. So he saved me from myself in that moment, and now I get to come back home and live the soft life. Like, yeah, I got my nails done, my whole nails done right now, and it's yellow. I was trying something new, but I get to live this soft life. I like buying perfumes and putting on my earrings, and I should have a necklace on right now because I'm trying to live a softer life. I want to be able to be financially fit. I want to be fit myself. Like, I've been going to the gym and I've been writing in my journal. And speaking of my journal, like, y'all, I literally have like 4 days of pages left. This book is like completely full, and I bought my new journal yesterday or 2 days ago because this is what your girl's gonna be writing in next. But so after I said my things that I wanted to do, I started to give him thanks, and I wanted to read my prayer as well. So I said, God, I'm so grateful. Thank you for loving me. Thank you for sacrificing your son for me. Thank you. God, there's no way that I deserve anything that you have blessed me with. God, you kept me from some really trying situations. God, there were some dark times I didn't see a way out, and you were the light. God, these trials was the pressure that I needed to truly become a diamond. God, why do you love me so much? What did you see in me that I didn't see in myself? I wasn't living my life. I wasn't living in my self-worth for so long. Why did you save me? You are so mighty, so amazing. There is no one like you. I love you. And I don't, as I was writing this, y'all, my pen was shaking because I was just boohoo crying. And it was so short, so simple, but like, I was straight up shaking because I just can't believe that God loved me so much that He would have grace and mercy over my life and allow me to make these choices and allow me to make some wrong choices or some right choices. But ultimately, I surrender my life to Him and I give Him glory in all the things that I do. And yeah, I'm not trying to be preachy, but I do want to like share my journey and how God is transforming me. And it's only up for here. It's only up for here. So yeah, it's not about perfect. We all fall short, but let's repent and get back on the right track, okay? This is my life. This is the life that I live, and I hope that somebody comes across this and it changes their life. You can be messed up, you can be out there, and you can still come back to God because He left the 99 to go find that one sheep. And I seek Him daily at this point. So join the journey with me.